Welcome to the Explainer. Most people just look out their window and see a loud metal box rolling down the street once a week. But we know better, right? For fleet managers and municipal engineers, this machine is a heavily regulated, precision-engineered marvel that literally dictates a city's operational efficiency. Today, we're diving deep into the exact specifications of Chinese OEM exports to figure out what makes these heavy-duty sanitation vehicles actually tick. Because let's face it, getting these specs wrong, it's a total logistical nightmare. So here's our blueprint for today. We're going to systematically build and deploy this complex vehicle together, layer by layer. We'll start with a hydraulic heart, build out the chassis skeleton, wrap the whole thing in metallurgical armor, deploy it, and then wrap up by looking at the rigorous testing and procurement workflows. All right, let's jump right into section 1. The heart. We're talking about the complex hydraulic compaction system that powers the Sweepman slide mechanism. This entire system starts with a literal heartbeat, the power takeoff unit, or the PTO. Basically, the PTO is a transmission-mounted gear that pulls direct rotational torque straight from the truck's engine. It uses that raw power to activate the primary hydraulic pump, and once engaged, that pump blasts high-pressure hydraulic fluid through a seriously complex network of valves. And when that PTO kicks in, it triggers this beautiful mechanical chain reaction. Step 1 is power engagement. Then comes step 2, material loading, where a rear sweep blade rotates downward to gather up loose refuse. Step 3 is payload crushing. Powerful slide cylinders force that debris deep into the structural cavity. And finally, step 4, volume maximization. An internal ejector panel applies counterpressure, literally crushing the garbage against itself to squeeze out every single pocket of empty space. Now think about the sheer force required to actually execute that 4-step process. During heavy refuse collection, system pressure routinely exceeds a massive 2,500 psi. To put that into perspective, that is roughly the bite force of a fully grown hippopotamus, concentrated right in the back of your truck. Delivering that level of supreme compaction is absolutely crucial. Why? Because it squeezes far more waste into the exact same volumetric space, drastically reducing trips to the landfill and seriously lowering your fuel consumption. And here's the crazy part. All of that incredible pressure allows a highly optimized compaction cycle to complete in just 15 to 20 seconds. For fleet managers, this is a real game changer. Faster cycle speeds mean route completion rates stay exceptionally high. Plus, it significantly reduces engine idling time, which naturally lowers the mechanical wear and tear on the whole vehicle over its lifespan. But what happens when those rapid cycle times start to lag? If a 15-second cycle suddenly takes 30 seconds, what's going on? Well, the culprit is usually right at the source: worn primary hydraulic pumps or degraded fluid. Microscopic debris can actually bypass return filters and gunk up those highly sensitive directional control valves. This is exactly why strict, scheduled hydraulic oil replacements are completely non-negotiable. Oh, and high-capacity oil coolers? Essential. They prevent thermal degradation of the fluid and protect internal cylinder seals from catastrophic failure. Moving outward from our hydraulic heart, let's hit section 2, the skeleton. We're looking at chassis configurations and building out that structural framework. A truck's chassis dictates where it can physically travel, and Chinese manufacturers offer immense flexibility to suit pretty much any global operating environment. Got incredibly narrow urban alleys? You'll want a compact 4x2 drive layout. But if you're managing massive landfill setups, you absolutely need a 6x4 or even a giant 8x4 configuration for optimal weight distribution. Leading domestic platforms like Sinotruk, Dongfeng, and Sheckman provide highly robust base frames perfectly tailored to wherever they're being deployed. A question fleet planners ask all the time is, can we adjust commercial truck wheelbases for those really tight, narrow streets? Yes, absolutely. You can get multiple wheelbase options for standard 4x2 platforms. A shorter wheelbase drastically improves your turning radius. But, and this is a big but, it's a trade-off. Modifying the wheelbase limits your maximum allowable superstructure volume. Usually you're restricted to a compact 5 cubic meter body. So it's great for rapid alleyway deployment, but it definitely caps your total payload. And obviously, our skeleton needs some muscle. Because these are built for export, factories routinely install proven diesel power plants using ultra-reliable Cummins or Weichai blocks. Buyers have complete flexibility to match engine blocks and emission standards to their specific region. So, a developing market might request a simpler Euro 3 engine to handle lower-grade regional diesel, while a heavily regulated urban zone will strictly require a complex, advanced Euro 6 engine with all those sensitive exhaust aftertreatment systems. Okay, time to play our skeleton.
Section 3 is the armor. We're talking high-tensile steel designed specifically to protect against highly corrosive municipal waste.
We all know industrial waste environments are incredibly abusive. To combat this, premium Chinese fabrication facilities don't mess around. They rely on advanced metallurgical grades. Standard side panels use Q345 steel for an excellent strength-to-weight ratio, but for those high-stress structural joints supporting the heavy lifting mechanism, they upgrade to the much tougher Q690 steel. And for the hopper floor, which sees extreme sliding abrasion, NM450 steel is exclusively used. Mixing and matching these materials perfectly balances load-bearing muscle with reduced unladen weight, ultimately boosting payload limits.
Seriously, industrial waste is brutal. Standard mild steel hopper bodies, they just get eaten alive by acidic municipal leachate. They're incredibly susceptible to rapid chemical corrosion and physical abrasion. NM450, though, is a highly specialized wear-resistant steel. Using it on the hopper floor stops premature metal thinning from daily scooping dead in its tracks. Combine that with multi-layer epoxy primers, and you drastically slow down that inevitable chemical corrosion, adding years to the vehicle's life cycle. So, our machine is built, armored, and powered. Section 4 is deploying the right machine, which is all about matching your equipment to your specific collection zones.
You have to consult the capability matrix. Different lifting mechanisms dictate both your workforce needs and where you can actually route the truck. For example, rear loaders are the gold standard for high-density routes. They need a driver and 2 loaders, but they hit an incredible 6-to-1 compaction ratio. Automated side loaders, or ASLs, they use robotic arms for suburban pickup, only require 1 driver and still manage 4-to-1 compaction. Front loaders tackle commercial zones with overhead forks, also hitting that 6-to-1 ratio. And hook lift chassis use swappable bins for construction debris. Choosing the right mechanism here literally makes or breaks a route's profitability.
Finally, we reach Section 5, testing and procurement workflows. Let's look at how we validate export quality before these things ever hit the road.
Now, you might not associate garbage trucks with aerospace-level quality control, but they actually require it. Factory engineers run intense pressure retention tests, ensuring the system can sustain that 2,500 psi without a drop of fluid bypass. Volumetric leak tests guarantee toxic waste stays contained during transit. They even use non-destructive ultrasonic weld inspections to hunt for microscopic fractures in high-tensile joints, and salt spray testing to simulate harsh coastal environments. It is incredibly rigorous.
Procuring customized heavy trucks internationally is no small feat. You need perfectly verified data. Today, industrial buyers rely on specialized export platforms and digital networks like CN Special Vehicle. These portals let fleet managers dial in exact technical parameters, everything from a standard 4x2 frame to a heavy-duty 8x8 chassis. It allows procurement teams to dynamically compare chassis origins across major brands like Futon, FAW, XCMG, Chengli, and Dongfeng, perfectly matching factory output to complex municipal tenders. But obviously, the process doesn't just end when you click buy. Engaging independent inspection agencies like SGS acts as your ultimate final safeguard. These third-party auditors physically verify payload distribution, exact dimensional compliance, and physical axle ratings. They make absolutely sure everything is flawless before the truck ever rolls onto a ro-ro vessel for export. So I want to leave you with this one final thought. We've seen how precise engineering dictates real-world performance. If a highly optimized 15-second hydraulic cycle and a specialized NM450 steel hopper floor can revolutionize just one single municipal route, slashing fuel costs, reducing wear, and maximizing payload, how might optimizing your entire fleet specifications reshape your city's overarching operational budget? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive in the explainer. I really hope this encourages you to look at your city's heavy-duty fleets with a completely newly engineered perspective. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.